They say you're cold, distant, unfeeling, because you stopped chasing, stopped begging, stopped breaking yourself to keep people who were already halfway out the door. But here's what they don't understand. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's the moment you stop confusing love with suffering, connection with control, care with codependence. And the people who accuse you of being cold, they're just uncomfortable that you're no longer burning yourself to keep them warm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Detachment is that power. It's not shutting people out. It's refusing to let their chaos dictate your peace. It's not giving up on connection. It's giving up on the illusion that you can control it. Let's be clear about what detachment actually is. It's not apathy. It's not indifference. It's not walking through life pretending nothing matters. It's the exact opposite. It's caring so deeply that you refuse to sacrifice your well-being for outcomes you can't control. It's loving people without losing yourself. It's being present without being possessed. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. They practiced detachment not because they didn't care, but because they cared enough to protect their inner peace. They knew that attachment, clinging to people, outcomes, expectations, is the root of suffering. And detachment is the antidote, not the absence of feeling, the presence of wisdom. Here's the shift. Attached people say, "I need you to be happy." Detached people say, "I'm happy, and I'd love to share that with you." See the difference? One makes their peace conditional, the other makes it foundational. One is desperate, the other is free. And freedom always looks cold to people who are still trapped. But detachment isn't something you achieve once and forget. It's a practice, a daily choice. Because life will test you, people will test you. And every time someone disappoints you, leaves you, or fails to meet your expectations, you'll face the same question. Do I collapse into attachment, or do I stand firm in detachment? The Buddha taught that attachment is suffering, but Western culture twisted that into, don't care about anything. That's not what it means. It means care without clinging, love without losing yourself, invest in people without making them responsible for your happiness. Because the moment you make someone else the source of your peace, you've given them the power to destroy it. Here's what happens when you practice detachment. People get uncomfortable. They accuse you of changing, of being different, of not caring anymore. And they're right. You are different. You stopped performing. You stopped contorting yourself into shapes that don't fit. You stopped prioritizing their comfort over your sanity. And that feels like rejection to people who benefited from your self-abandonment. Let me tell you what detachment actually looks like in practice. It's not ignoring people. It's not shutting down emotionally. It's responding instead of reacting. It's observing instead of absorbing. It's being present without being controlled by the outcome. Detachment is watching someone you care about make terrible decisions and not making their chaos your crisis. It's loving someone while accepting you can't save them. It's showing up fully without needing them to show up the same way. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, and the most liberating. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Detachment is choosing your reaction. It's the space between stimulus and response. That pause where you decide, am I going to let this destroy my peace? Or am I going to acknowledge it and let it pass? Here's the psychology behind why detachment feels cold to others. Because we live in a culture that romanticizes suffering, that calls obsession passion, that mistakes codependence for commitment, that celebrates people who can't live without each other, as if mutual dependence is the height of love. But it's not. It's the recipe for disaster. Real love doesn't demand, it doesn't cling, it doesn't need constant reassurance that it's enough. Real love is detached, not because it doesn't care, but because it cares enough to let the other person be free, to let outcomes unfold without forcing them, to trust that what's meant to stay will stay, and what's meant to go was never yours to keep. But detachment requires something most people aren't willing to give: trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process. Trust that you'll be okay no matter what happens. And that terrifies people. Because if you're okay either way, they can't manipulate you with guilt. They can't control you with fear. They can't keep you trapped with the promise of future change. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And attachment lives in imagination. It's the story you tell yourself about what will happen if they leave, if it doesn't work out, if you're alone. But detachment lives in reality. It says, "I'm okay right now, and I'll be okay then too." Not because I don't care, but because my peace doesn't depend on external circumstances. Here's what most people get wrong about detachment. They think it's a destination, a place you arrive at and stay. But it's not. It's a practice you return to over and over. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into worry about something you can't control, you practice detachment. Every time you feel the urge to force an outcome, you practice letting go. Every time someone disappoints you and you choose peace over resentment, that's detachment. And yes, it's hard, because your brain is wired for attachment, for connection, for bonding. And detachment feels like you're going against your nature, but you're not. You're going against your conditioning. The conditioning that taught you love means suffering. That care means sacrifice. That connection requires losing yourself. Detachment is unlearning all of that. Here's what happens when you master detachment. You stop needing closure. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop expecting people to give you what they don't have. Because you've accepted that you're complete on your own. Not because you don't want connection, but because you don't need it to survive. And that's when everything changes. Because people can feel the shift. They can sense that you're no longer hooked, that you're no longer waiting, that you're no longer assigning your happiness to their actions. And some will call you cold for it. But others, the right ones, will respect it. They'll meet you there. They'll match your energy. Because detachment attracts secure people and repels insecure ones. The Stoics practiced amor fati, love of fate. The idea that everything happening is exactly what needs to happen. That person leaving? Fate. That opportunity falling through? Fate. That relationship ending? Fate. And detachment is loving it anyway. Not because it feels good, but because fighting reality only creates suffering. Here's the part they don't tell you. Detachment makes you more capable of love, not less. Because when you're not clinging, you're free to appreciate. When you're not demanding, you're free to receive. When you're not controlling, you're free to connect. Detachment removes the desperation that ruins relationships and replaces it with presence. But it also makes you selective, because once you taste freedom, you can't go back to chains. Once you experience peace, you can't tolerate chaos. Once you know what it feels like to be whole on your own, you can't accept relationships that require you to break yourself to fit. And that's not cold. That's self-respect. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confine yourself to the present." Detachment is present moment living. It's not worrying about whether they'll text back, not spiraling about what might happen, not replaying what already did. It's being here, now, fully alive, regardless of external circumstances. And that presence is magnetic. So how do you practice detachment? You start small. You notice when you're trying to control something you can't. You catch yourself spiraling into attachment. And instead of judging yourself, you redirect. You breathe. You remind yourself, I am okay right now. I will be okay regardless. This outcome doesn't define me. You stop checking their social media. You stop crafting perfect responses. You stop performing for people who aren't even watching. You let conversations end naturally. You let people leave if they want to leave. You stop convincing, chasing, proving, and you start trusting that what's meant for you won't require force. Here's your final truth. Detachment isn't about being cold. It's about being free. Free from the need for external validation. Free from the fear of loss. Free from the illusion that your happiness depends on anything outside yourself. And that freedom, it's the most loving thing you can offer to yourself and to others. Because when you're free, you can love without conditions. You can care without suffocating. You can be present without being desperate. You can invest without being attached to the return. And that's not coldness, that's clarity. The clarity to see people as they are. The clarity to accept what is. The clarity to know that you'll be okay no matter what. So let them call you cold. Let them say you've changed. Let them miss the version of you that prioritized their comfort over your peace. Because you're not going back. You've tasted detachment, and there's no greater power than caring deeply while remaining completely free.